All right. I didn't do this all season, but I want to start trying to do this. I want to start trying to do this so that you guys can get more content from me. I know a lot of you guys have been asking for a podcast, which I thought about here and there, but it just, right now, time is not something that I have to be able to do. But I thought I would at least try to get the YouTube up and running, give me a little more space to talk about some of the topics that I just can't do in the TikTok. Actually, not that I can't do, it's just I feel like when you're watching my TikTok, you might not want to listen to all of that. Whereas on a YouTube video, I feel like you guys may have more time just to sit and chat and listen. And hopefully I can get into more of a system of maybe streaming or coming to you guys live during games. And we talk about that in the future. Sorry for the bareness of my room, still getting this all together. All to say, I want to appreciate all of you who are even watching this. I don't know how many will be watching it, maybe 5, maybe 10, maybe 1,000. But however many it is, I just want to say again, thank you. It's been a great journey getting to become a voice for the Dodgers from a fan perspective. I don't work for the team. I don't represent anything with the Los Angeles Dodgers. I'm just a big avid fan, and I'm appreciative of the community that I got to build with you all during this time. So with that being said, the regular season is not done. The Dodgers still have 3 more games against the Colorado Rockies, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit. But first, again, I just want to talk about the NL West Championship. And I don't know how many of you guys were watching, but it was awesome to see a lot of the players who haven't won really anything significant in their baseball career. And this includes Shohei Ohtani. He has not won anything significant as far as a Major League Baseball player. The Angels, again, I talk crap about them, but I understand that to some extent, every team is trying their best to win. They make their best efforts to sign the players that they can. You just can never predict how the actual season is going to play out. And it's interesting because in baseball, it's the most numbers-driven sport. I think basketball and football have caught up tremendously, but baseball has just so much data to consider and digest. And on paper, you have Mike Trout, you have Shohei Ohtani, you expect good things, but it just didn't happen. So Shohei spent 7 years there, comes to the Dodgers. In his first year with the Dodgers, he wins the NL West. And you can just tell on his face that there was something different about this experience. I think baseball is truly the best sport only because each act of the baseball game, there's just so much tension and drama built in. Every pitch, every throw to first, every disengagement, I guess, every swing of the bat, it just comes with literally thousands of data points to tell you it's going to be a fastball, it's going to be a sinker, it's going to be inside, it's going to be outside. Like, you don't really know. And so all of that just increases and heightens the stress for any one player at any given moment. And this is for everybody. The batter, the pitcher, the catcher, everybody has a role to play. And in those moments, it can be really hard to lock in. So, long kind of tangent. Shohei Ohtani, first time, wins the National League, or I guess wins the division. And you can just see it on his face. The emotion that he displayed in this series, I think, is unparalleled. I haven't seen it from a Dodger player in a long, long time. I think the reason why a lot of the Dodger fans have so much nostalgia for maybe like the Manny Ramirez teams, who he was there at the game last night. Obviously times with Andre Ethier, Matt Kemp, and then Yasiel Puig, I think, is another player that I think a lot about. Even Juan Uribe. Just these guys that hold a special place in our hearts because of the passion, the excitement, not in just the way that they played, but what they expressed on the field. It's something that fans like to see because we want to believe that the players care as much about them playing and their performance as we do. Now, if I was paid millions of dollars, would I have that much of a passion? I don't know. I can't say that definitively, and I'm not going to judge any player for their perceived motivation or lack of motivation. But I think when we see that excitement, it just builds even greater appreciation for those players. And I think for me as a Dodger fan, just seeing Shohei reacting that way, and then I think from there you saw Will Smith, who I just feel like is one of the most even-keeled guys. He exploded. Andy Pages, he flipped his bat. Mookie Betts, huge single. You see him with the first base coach just so excited. And I think you can't help but feel that when a lot of the key contributors on the Dodgers, they've never been here before. This is not a normal position for them. So you look at Jack Flaherty, Yoshinobu, Shohei, like I mentioned. These guys who were brought in mid-season, Michael Kopech, I want to make sure I mention him because he's been awesome. But these guys who don't have this experience, they are responding in the way that I think any normal person would. And sometimes I think we forget that. And even the Dodgers players, I think they forget that this is awesome. And so that was really cool to see. I honestly, again, I talk a lot of crap about the Padres, but I love playing the Padres because I feel like every time we play them, the stakes feel high. There's just a lot of pressure to perform well, and it's just fun. Like, that is fun baseball. It doesn't need to be high scoring for baseball to be fun, which I think is a little bit different than maybe basketball at this point. A low scoring basketball game can get pretty boring. But the Dodgers, the Padres, they just bring out the best in each other, and I would not mind that being an NLCS or an NLDS series, and we'll see how the seeding shake out. But that would be really, really fun. NL West locked up for the 11th time in the last 12 years. Really cool. Really cool for the Dodgers to be able to do that. Again, it is a big accomplishment, and I talked about it a little bit in my TikTok, but people were asking me why I kind of bag on the Padres for celebrating their wild card victory, and then I let the Dodgers kind of celebrate. I think winning the division is something that should always be celebrated. It's 162 games. Coming out on top of that is a big deal. The wild card, and this is, again, it's not to say that there aren't good teams in the wild card. There are a ton of good teams that make it deep into the playoffs. Look at Arizona just last year making it to the World Series. But the wild card and the inclusion of more teams in the playoffs, again, was a machination of the league to get more teams involved. It's more money for the league. So I understand it from a business perspective, but that's just not what it was intended to be, right? When baseball first started. And again, there's more teams. Maybe if there were this many teams to begin with, it would have always been like this. I don't know. When half the team makes the playoffs now, it does kind of diminish the accomplishment a little bit. And so I think winning that division is still something that should always be celebrated, because there are only 6 of them every year who win the divisions. And getting to the top of that over 162 games is definitely something to celebrate. So that's my little bit on that. I understand I can sound hypocritical, but I don't care. I'm a Dodger fan. That's what I'm going to do. But if we ever don't win the division, I will say the same thing. I would not be happy with the wild card, because I expect us to be able to make it every year until we're not good. But I just don't see that happening in the next 10, 20 years. So we don't have to worry about that. Now, regular season is not done. We have a series against the Colorado Rockies coming up. And Colorado is another city, another team in which I feel like the Dodgers have just exciting series against, only because with the altitude and whatever the history of the Colorado Rockies is, it seems to always be high scoring. And so I don't even feel that bad when our pitchers give up a lot of runs in Colorado, because I just feel like it's part of what it is. I'm always going to take the over. I'm always going to think that it's going to be, a high scoring game. And so for the Dodgers, I hope they come in with some focus, and I can understand maybe today they're being a little bit tired, maybe don't perform as well. They just celebrated the NL West yesterday, probably flew in really late last night, early this morning. And so who knows what their mental and physical state's going to be. But I would love for the Dodgers to be able to lock in and continue to work hard until the end of the season, because as many Dodger fans have mentioned, they will have that bye. They're not going to be playing in the wild card round. And that has been something that has bit us in the foot, in the back, snake bitten, in the butt. It has come to bite us in the butt because maybe we have a rust issue. I don't know what it is. I generally lean towards it's better to be able to line up your pitching the way that you want and just come in rested. But with baseball being a game of such streaks, and you can be hot and cold at, snap of a finger, I can understand Dodger fans maybe wanting us to have gone through the wild card, so that either we go into that series already hot, or we're out early and don't have to go through the hurt of years past. But I think it is still a benefit for us to have the bye, and we have that locked up. And I think it is a benefit for us to have home field advantage as much as possible. So I hope we were able to work through this series and get a win. And, Arizona and San Diego are playing for something significant. San Diego, I guess it's more of a seeding thing. Arizona, they're not guaranteed to make it into the playoffs through a wild card, so they're going to be motivated to win. So hopefully the Dodgers keep the pedal to the metal to the end of the season. We're going to get a break no matter what. So just tax yourself to the end, get there, and we'll see what happens and shakes out after that. A few news and notes. I just read that Clayton Kershaw will not be, let me type that in, Clayton Kershaw not returning this season. Maybe not fully this season, but he won't be coming back anytime before probably the World Series if we get there. I think the toe body issue is just too much for him, and he's not going to be able to make it back. So that sucks. The Dodgers do still have a number of injuries. Freddie Freeman, Bruce Gratterall with the shoulder. I feel so bad for that guy. Brent Honeywell with the finger nail, which is a weird injury. So we're still not healthy, but that has been the story of the season. It is what it is. We got to keep pushing. I feel oddly optimistic about this team in a way that maybe even last year I didn't think so. And that's all Shohei, just to bring it back. Shohei definitely has had an MVP-worthy season. I'm glad that discussion is now put to bed. He really stepped up when it mattered, and I think he's carrying the team along with him. He's not just the only one carrying us. I think through his efforts and his performance, everyone else is following suit. So love that. Love Shohei Ohtani's just general ethos and his overall effect on the Dodgers has been tremendous this year, and I'm expecting more. So enjoy the game tonight. I will try to create one of these for the post game and just in general provide more YouTube content. I might do it in this kind of format, a little bit more of a streaming type where I just kind of talk through out loud, a little bit more long form, and we'll still consider a podcast. I know many of you have talked about that and asked about that, but we'll see. But in any case, go Dodgers. I'll see you all on TikTok after the game.